once a new regulation will be brought by the British Parliament. According to it, the East India Company should act. So 20 years once, new regulation according to it. In between that itself, amendments can be brought. Changes to the regulating act can be brought, and the major change that was brought in 1781. Okay, just write down, just 2 lines write down. The 1781 amendment to the 1773 Act. Write down the 1781 amendment to the 1773 Act, 1773 Regulating Act, stated that the Governor General of Bengal would be the final decision-making authority and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court cannot override him. Okay, full stop. Listen to me. This act numerous times asked. Many competitive exams, not this exam or that exam, many competitive exams, content of this act has been asked. One, they used to ask Pitt's India Act year, they have asked 1784. It comes from the British Prime Minister of that time, William Pitt's name was the one who proposed this act. So, most important thing, listen to me, very important thing, what has been asked. This notes would be provided to you, books it would be there, so not a worry, need not write down things. But listen to me, what is most important that we have to know in this act is that for the first time, I have told very clearly, regulating act itself is meant to regulate the activity of East India Company. So East India Company's activity should be regulated, that's the idea. When that was the idea, it goes further, 1784, again furthermore a regulation they are bringing in. What is it? It divides, the Court of Directors as one group was there earlier or not? Court of Directors as one group was there earlier. In 1773 what they said, you have to provide the revenue detail, all those details, military expenditure to the British Parliament. 1784 Act, the Court of Directors got divided into two. How? If you see a 6-member board of control, among the members, Court of Directors, 6 members was cut off, separate. Okay, what they should do? So they were called Board of Control. They were called Board of Control. And the rest, Court of Directors. So now Court of Directors and Board of Control are going to be there. So this Board of Control's activity is what? They will look into the political issues. Military and political issue. Administrative issue. Court of Directors will simply manage the trade. Getting it or not? They will manage the trade. Board of Control, civil and military government are revenues of British possessions in India. Board of Control will take care. They will manage the commercial affairs. This question has been asked numerous times. Book it is there. We will also be providing you the notes. Every book it will be there. But again I am reminding you this point has been asked several times. Board of Control, a division among Board of Control and Court of Director happened in which act? It is also called a dual administration that happened. Dual administration, this is another one. 1765 to 1773 we saw dual government in Bengal. This is a form of dual administration. This item existed till 1857. Till 1857, 1858 Act only it got changed. Okay, till the time this Court of Director got divided into two, Board of Control and Court of Director. One 6-member will look into the political affairs, other into the commercial affairs. So these two, keep this in mind very much. For the first time, till before 1784, company's territory, it was called as, whatever territory British had here was called company's territory. Now itself the word you can see came to be called British possessions in India. British possessions in India. This again an important one. The Act of 1786. See, now Lord Cornwallis has come. Act of 1786. Governor General is to be made the Commander-in-Chief of the Army. Okay. This is again, if you see, after 20 years, 1773, after 20 years I have said to you, 1793 new act comes. The Charter Act of 1793 or Regulating Act of 1793. Anyway you can call, British Parliament passes this, the Regulating passed it, the Regulating Act of 1793. Sir John Shore was the Governor General of Bengal at that time. Okay. Here, in this much is not important. Again I am saying, many a times much of questions are not asked. But one thing which we will later on give a connection to is the expenses and salaries of Board of Control to be charged on Indian revenue. Listen carefully. Later on, one item we will be in history, elaborately you will be reading many a times asked a question, that is history one, but related to history, but this is an example of it also, that is drain of wealth theory. There is a theory called drain of wealth theory. In modern history you will be reading. If you see what it is, this is a typical example of it. Because the British, lot many items grouped together, they are called drain of wealth theory. One among them is this: British appoint their members in the name of administering a place, taking care of law and order and so on and so forth. But they have to be paid by whom? Indians, Indian revenue. Okay, getting it or not? For no benefit of them, simply to get regulated, controlled by the British, we have to pay for us. Okay, so that is again an important item, and this, apart from it, much is not important in this act. This act numerous times asked a question. Numerous times asked a question from this act. In fact, last year also I have seen questions asked. In several competitive exams, questions from this charter has been asked. A regulating act you can call it. See, books it is there. Apart from it, we will also be providing that you can read to yourself. But what are important, I am specifying. Those items you should have a note, read it more clearly, getting it or not. So that's for that reason only this is being done. Understood? So Charter Act of 1813, Lord Minto was there. What is a very important item in this? Many a times asked a question, not once, many a times asked a question, many competitive exams, they ask this question from this act. What is it? See, the monopoly trading right we saw or not, right from 1600. Now, that monopoly trading right is cut. East India Company's monopoly trading right with India got cut except for tea and opium trade with China. So, monopoly trading right deprived of its trade monopoly in India except in tea and opium trade with China. This question has been asked numerous times, not once. Tea, except tea trade in India, they had monopoly. Opium, again, they had monopoly in China. Okay, listen carefully. In China, other items also they had, but main trade was opium only. What is opium? Huh? It's a drug. Okay, opium. Heroin.
Yellow brown additive.
Yellow brown additive.
Narrowed.
Where is it?
Yellow brown.
Okay. Additive drug. It's from poppy. The yellow brown is, I think, a chemical. This one. But this is again the earliest version of it. Okay. Opium. There were opium wars in China. Actually, Britishers controlled it. Got it or not? Opium. Britishers controlled it. Opium trade. So this East India, this question has been asked numerous times. Got it or not? Intoxicating item, this has been asked numerous times, keep it in mind. Again, for the first time, listen carefully. For the first time, Britishers, that is the British Parliament stated that 1 lakh rupee every year has to be kept aside to educate Indian masses. To educate Indian masses was said for the first time in this act. But here it did not mean in what language they should be educated or what kind of education be given. Because during that time, aftermath of Industrial Revolution in Europe, there was a debate going on in Europe itself, what kind of education has to be there. Because in Europe, listen to me, this is for a broader idea about things you should be knowing. It was the time even in Europe the debate was there. Because before that time, church-centric education was there in Europe. What is church-centric education? Education was meant to provide morals to people. Morality. What is morals? Huh? Value. What is value? Preferred form of behavior in a society. Okay, get it that way. Preferred form of behavior. So, moral-based education was there in society. No wrong. When education as such started, every society that was the case. But that moral-based education, what we are saying, after Industrial Revolution, the need for a different kind of education was stressed. What was it? The need for the different kind of education was, what was it? Market-centric education. Now Industrial Revolution, modern inventions, technical know-how to operate the machines. Factories were set up, supervisors. So a technical education is required. Whether we should have market-centric education or we should have moral-centric education. That debate was going on in Europe itself. In wherever Europeans ruled, Britishers ruled, it had a spillover effect. Apart from it, in India, what language they have to be taught? See, even during Warren Hastings' time, Warren Hastings, the first Governor General of Bengal, came up with a law called Gentoo Law, G-E-N-T-O-O. Right now. Warren Hastings codified several religious laws. And termed them the Gentoo laws. G-E-N-T-O. Underline G-E-N-T-O. Okay, full stop. Listen to me. Why am I saying Warren Hastings is? See, Warren Hastings even 20-30 years prior to it itself, he has done that. Apart from it, he was a supporter of Orientalist education. Orientalist means in the people's own language. You can educate. James Prinsep. Who is James Prinsep? NCERT book you will be reading. You have read it, so only I am asking. One who deciphered the Brahmi script, without whom we would not have known about Ashoka the Great. One who deciphered the Brahmi script. People like James Prinsep or Warren Hastings, they supported Orientalist education. That is, let the people be taught in their own language, Indians be taught in their own language, and the content also be from the traditional ideas. But there was another set among the British who wanted a modern education. Modern means a rationality based education plus education for market, not for morals. Getting it or not? So market based education. Today's education, what we have? Huh? Why moral? If moral based education, you people will not be sitting here. Huh? You will be going and searching for moksha. You will not be here wanting for job. Okay, this is market based education. While joining any course itself, it is asked or not. Whether I will understand that, this and all, not the problem. What is asked? What job will I get if I join? Market based. Getting it or not? Education is market based. So anyway, so here that was there. So this was not cleared in 1813 Act. 1813 Act simply stated 1 lakh rupee. Why I am explaining this is some 2-3 years back, and if I am not wrong, 2017, one question was asked. When was the Anglican Orientalist controversy got settled? Through what? 3 options they gave. 1, 1813 Act. Second, they gave General Committee of Public Instruction. About that I will say later. Third, they gave Macaulay Minute 1935. These 3 items they gave. Anglican Orientalist controversy means 2 groups were there. The one group like Lord Macaulay. Lord Macaulay and all wanted education to be given in English only. Education should be in English. He wanted that Indians can be in color Indians, but in thought and actions they should be British. That can only come if they get educated in English. They can only come off that modernity will set in them, because he strongly thought English education is the best education. So he always favored them. So there was a debate going on, Anglican Orientalist controversy going on. Getting it or not? So 1813 Act that did not get settled. So if you see here, listen carefully. General Committee on Public Instructions 1823, a committee was set up to look into it. That also was inconclusive. Only in 1835, the Anglican Orientalist controversy got settled. Write down 2 lines. Just put a star or asterisk mark something and write as a point. The Anglican Orientalist controversy got settled through the Macaulay Minutes of 1835. And not through the 1813 Regulating Act or the General Committee of Public Instruction or the General Committee of Public Instruction. Now listen to me. See here, again this act, for the first time the British Parliament allowed Christian missionaries to come to India and preach Christianity. A question is not, did not Christian missionaries were present in India before this? They were present. In fact, even Akbar's son, one of his Akbar's son, Daniel, was tutored by Jesuit fathers. So Christian fathers were present even during Akbar's time also. So they were there. But British Parliament officially gave permission for them only till 1830. Because British were Anglican in nature. British were not Catholic, they were against the Rome. They were Anglican actually. And here, but in 1813 Act only they gave permission for the first time. Next major act, 1813 we saw, 20 years after. Next major act is the 1833 Act. Charter Act of 1833 or the Regulating Act. Listen. See, 1833 Act, Sir Lord William Bentinck was there. In fact, it is this act, most important item, numerous times asked a question in many of the competitive exams, because it's a general competitive exam type of coaching. The fact is that this area, what is that fact that has been asked numerous times? One very important thing that has been asked numerous times is that the Governor General of Bengal came to be called as Governor General of India. Very important. And the last Governor General of Bengal and first Governor General of India, Lord William Bentinck. Governor General of India. By the time Britishers started ruling over most parts of India completely. Got it? They had control, command over most parts of India. Because subsidiary alliance system they got introduced, permanent settlement got introduced. So all this enabled them to have a complete control. So 1833 Act, if you see, most important item, numerous times asked is, Governor General of Bengal came to be called as Governor General of India. Many times asked. Secondly, this monopoly in tea and opium that we saw or not. Now there is no monopoly right at all. Complete monopoly taken away. Complete monopoly taken away from East India Company. Important item. Don't expect me to say to you to write actually, though I may give important items, at least you can write when I say. Slowly when I say you can write down. These are because important areas. Okay, fine. Listen to me. This act is also called as Saint Helena Act. Saint why? See, it was through this act, the island of Saint Helena, which was under the administrative control of the East India Company, completely went under the crown. Write down. Write down. The 1833 Charter Act is also called as Saint Helena Act. Because it was through this act the island of Saint Helena which was under the administrative control of the East India Company from mid 17th century directly came under the control of the crown. Okay, fine. Okay? Other things are not greatly important. Next major act. 20 years later to it comes the 1853 Act. 1853 Act. Starter Act, the spelling is wrong. Okay, you can call it Regulating Act also, not a problem. The spelling there is wrong. Charter Act of 1853. Listen. See, listen to me. What is important alone I will say, rest books or what we give you can. For the very first time open competition was allowed. Open competition what? For what? See here till 1859 the civil services exam also. See, first of all this exams, the civil services exams. Who is the father of Indian civil services? Father of Indian civil services. God. Lord Cornwallis. Lord Cornwallis. During Lord Cornwallis' time only, it was during Lord Cornwallis' time, the services were divided into upper covenanted service and lower covenanted service. Got it? Upper covenanted service and lower covenanted services. And when this upper and lower covenanted services were divided, lower covenanted services already Indians were allowed. Lower means lower level exams, lower level appointment. Britishers appointed them. But higher level, upper level, only reserved for British, and that too East India Company had the say. They can appoint anyone they want. To that extent it was there. Complete merit based appointment was not there for them also. People like Lord Macaulay favored a merit based approach. And so here 1853 for the first time, complete open competition, upper covenanted services, even Indians to be allowed to write. This was the first time first act which stated Indians were also allowed to compete in open competition for upper covenanted services. Okay, so this was the first time it was there. For that, how it has to be done and all, a committee was set up called Macaulay Committee in 1854. It submitted its report in 1859 later on. That Civil Services Act was created, which I will say to you. Okay, just write down Macaulay Committee on open competition. Selection of civil servants. Just write that one. 1854. Listen to me now. 1833 Act we saw one item. See, this question has not come, but it has a very good potentiality to come. Listen, 1833 we have seen Governor General of Bengal getting called as Governor General of India. Now the question, who is the Governor of Bengal then? Was there a governor or not? From 1833 till 1854, the Governor General of India also acted as Governor of Bengal. From 1854, I will dictate, 1854 till 1911, the Bengal had a separate Lieutenant Governor, LG was there. So the idea of LG comes from then also. Getting it or not? From 1911 on, there was a separate governor appointed to Bengal. Okay, why 1911 was the mark? What happened in Bengal in 1911? Generally what happened in Delhi also? Till 1911, Calcutta was the capital. 1911 only the capital of British shifted to Delhi. Till 1911 it was Calcutta. 1911 only it got shifted to Delhi. Okay. When it got shifted, this area, separate governor was placed. Now write down a few lines. The Governor General of India also